What if I told you that the American dream, the very idea that hard work and dedication would guarantee stability, has been hollowed out to the point where even full time workers are being forced to live in their cars? What if I told you that the middle class, once the backbone of this country, is now little more than a fading illusion, and that the system is designed to keep people in debt, struggling, and dependent? What if I told you that the so called solutions being offered, like 50-year mortgages, are not solutions at all, but traps meant to keep generations enslaved to banks and corporations? Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to break down is not just a story about economics, it's a story about power, control, and the breaking point that is coming for this society. Americans have had enough. And today we're going to talk about why. The reality we are living in right now is one where millions of people who are employed, who clock in every day, who give their time and energy to companies, both big and small, are still unable to afford basic housing. They are not unemployed. They are not lazy. They are not freeloaders. They are workers. And yet they are sleeping in their cars, parking in lots, hiding from police, and trying to maintain some semblance of dignity while living in conditions that should shame the richest nation on earth. This is not a fringe issue. This is not a handful of unlucky people. This is a growing epidemic. And it is directly tied to the way corporations and governments have structured the economy. When 70% of people on SNAP benefits are already working full-time jobs, that tells you everything you need to know about how broken the system is. These are not people refusing to work. These are people working for companies like Amazon, warehouses, IT firms, manufacturing plants, and yet they cannot afford rent. The government steps in it with taxpayer funded assistance. But what that really means is that corporations are allowed to pay poverty wages while the public subsidizes their labor force. It is not charity. It is not compassion. It is exploitation disguised as policy. Think about that for a moment. The government is covering the gap between what corporations pay and what it actually costs to live. And instead of forcing those corporations to pay fair wages, they allow them to continue profiting while the taxpayer foots the bill. That is not capitalism, that is corporate welfare, and it is destroying the middle class. For decades, people have been told that entry level jobs are not supposed to pay enough to live on, that flipping burgers or stocking shelves is just a stepping stone. But what happens when those jobs are no longer temporary? When automation, outsourcing, and corporate consolidation eliminate the so called better opportunities, leaving millions stuck in positions that do not pay enough to survive. What happens is exactly what we are seeing now. The decimation of the middle class, the erosion of stability, and the normalization of poverty, even among the employed. The illusion of upward mobility is collapsing, and people are waking up to the fact that the system is rigged. And here's the kicker: even those who manage to find new jobs after layoffs are not making enough to live. It's not just about losing jobs, it's about the fact that the jobs that remain do not pay enough to cover rent, food, healthcare, and basic necessities. So people are forced into cars, into debt, into government assistance, and into a cycle that strips them of dignity and autonomy. This is not about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. This is about a system that has cut the straps off entirely and told you to keep climbing anyway. And now, as if things weren't bad enough, we are hearing proposals for 50-year mortgages. Think about that. An entire adult life spent in debt, paying the bank for a home you will never truly own. This is not a solution. This is a trap. A 20 or 30-year mortgage is already a massive commitment, but 50 years? That is generational debt. That is lifelong servitude. That is a way to keep people chained to banks until the day they die. Hey guys, in a world pushing you to own nothing and be happy, crypto is your key to survival. Join Angry's Crypto Academy to master buying, selling, and trading crypto. Make huge profits and safeguard your wealth. Plus, discover the one crypto virtually no one is talking about, poised to create new millionaires in the upcoming bull run. The link is in the description of the video below. Go check it out now. Imagine your parents or grandparents still owing money on their homes because the mortgage was stretched out to 50 years. Imagine working your entire life, paying every month, and still not owning your home outright. That is not stability. That is not freedom. That is bondage. And yet, this is being pushed as if it were a solution to the housing crisis. It is not a solution. It is an extended problem, a way to keep people in debt longer while pretending to offer relief. The monthly payments are not significantly lower, the interest piles up, and the bank owns your home, not you. You are one or two bad months away from losing everything, and the illusion of ownership is just that, an illusion. Both political parties play their part in this charade, pretending to care while ultimately serving the interests of corporations and banks. Any positive move forward is quickly undone. Any genuine attempt to help the people is sabotaged because the system is designed to protect the elite, not the worker. And so we find ourselves in a society where people are forced to choose between living in debt or living in their cars, between breaking the law by parking overnight or becoming debt slaves to banks. This is not sustainable. And there has to be a breaking point. People are waking up, people are angry, and people are realizing that the promises of the past were lies. The middle class was always fragile, always precarious, and now it is being exposed as an illusion. The reality is that the system is not broken. It is working exactly as designed. It is designed to keep wages low, to keep people dependent, to keep corporations profitable, and to keep banks in control. It is designed to funnel wealth upward, to strip dignity from workers, and to normalize poverty as if it were just another lifestyle choice. But living in your car is not a lifestyle choice, it is a symptom of systemic failure. And yet, despite all of this, people continue to work, continue to struggle, continue to fight for survival, because what else can they do? They are told to be grateful for their jobs, told to accept assistance, told to take on 50-year mortgages, told to keep quiet and keep working. But the anger is building, the frustration is boiling over, and the breaking point is coming. This is not just about economics, this is about power. It is about who controls the narrative, who sets the rules, and who benefits from the system. And right now, it is not the worker, it is not the taxpayer, it is not the middle class, it is the corporations, the banks, and the politicians who serve them. That is the reality, and that is why Americans have had enough. So when you see people living in their cars, do not dismiss them as lazy or irresponsible. See them for what they are, workers trapped in a system that refuses to pay them enough to live. See them as the canaries in the coal mine, warning us of the collapse that is coming. Because if full-time workers cannot afford housing, then the system has already failed. And if the solution being offered is 50-year mortgages, then the system is not trying to fix itself. It is trying to tighten the chains. This is the future we are heading toward unless something changes, unless people demand accountability, unless corporations are forced to pay fair wages, unless banks are stripped of their power to enslave generations in debt. The question is not whether the breaking point will come. The question is when. And when it does, it will not be pretty. So I ask you, what do you think about all of this? Do you agree that the system is rigged, that corporations and banks are exploiting workers, that the middle class is being destroyed? Or do you believe there is another explanation? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts, because this conversation needs to happen, and it needs to happen now. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.